Hello, my name is Rachel and this is Clark, and welcome back to my channel. This video is about all the places that I buy books other than Amazon. So my self-imposed Amazon book buying ban really started about 4 years ago when I went to DPI, which is the Denver Publishing Institute, which is basically a month-long crash course of the publishing industry. And while I was there, I learned firsthand the harmful effects that Amazon has on the book buying industry. Amazon basically has a stranglehold on the industry itself. Publishers and authors no longer get to decide how much their book is worth, because there is a printing cost, right? And so there's, depending on that, of how expensive the book cover is for the design, the different elements on the book cover, the pages, how many pages, the kind of ink that is used, all of that costs lots of money. So less money is being made off of a single book that is sold. Amazon purposefully lowers costs of books just so then they can start pushing out independent booksellers and just bookstores in general. I mean, Borders, hello, we all remember that, right? You guys remember Borders? Well, they're gone. And you want to know who that's because? It's because of Amazon, because of Jeffrey frickin' Bezos. I've decided that Amazon just isn't the place for me to buy books anymore. I've been trying to buy books from a variety of other places. It's not that Amazon is inherently bad. It's not. I believe that every bookseller has a place in the book selling world. My thing is, I want to make sure that Amazon isn't the only one. And this whole video is not to shame anybody if you do buy books off of Amazon or Kindle or Audible. Not at all. It's not to say that you can never buy books off of Amazon. Not trying to say that either. But basically, it's just trying to keep people informed on where they're buying their books and maybe some other options. I'm going to talk about places where I physically go to buy books and buy physical books. I will talk about the websites that I go to buy books. And then the end, I will talk about where I buy ebooks and audiobooks. With all of that, let's go ahead and get started. Let's get started. He's just decided he's gonna be here for the long haul, and I hope you don't mind. Okay, so where I physically go and buy books. Number one, I feel like is an obvious one, but I feel like it's not utilized enough, is thrift stores. Stores, typically, you can find super cheap books there. I mean, they're selling them for like $1, $3. And so if money is the issue, try thrift stores. I will say typically for thrift stores, their selection is a lot smaller, so it's a lot more of a hunt. Thrift stores, though, are a really good option if you are looking to fill up your library, especially if you're a collector and you've just started collecting. Thrift stores would be a good place to start because the books are so cheap there and they're secondhand. And depending on where you're at, when I lived in Portland, going to a Goodwill, the selection was a lot bigger. Try out a thrift store. The second place that I absolutely love going to, this is probably my favorite place to go, is Half Price Books or a secondhand bookstore. It's another cheap option, especially if you're buying a used book. I have found so many lightly used books that are basically new for like $7 at Half Price Books. Again, it is another place where you have to hunt for the books, but if you want to spend all day in a bookstore, that's the one to go to. The nice thing too about Half Price Books is they typically have new books there as well that they're selling. I mean, it's a smaller selection, so you can get new releases if you're looking for them, as well as then you can go hunting for any older books that you may be interested in buying. Can I just say, the feeling that you get when you are hunting for this book that you have really wanted and you're looking through the shelves and then you find it and it's the only copy there and it's like $5, It's euphoric. It is my drug. So, half-price books or secondhand bookstores. Also, with half-price books, you can also sell your books there, and so you can go in, you can unhaul some of your library, get some money, and then you can spend it right away with store credit. So that is also another really nice thing about secondhand bookstores. Another place that I really like to go to are independent bookstores. Independent bookstores are so underrated, and here's why. Because the experience that you have in an independent bookstore is always going to be so unique. It's not going to be like your Barnes & Noble where you know exactly what it is. It's not going to even be like a secondhand bookstore where you know exactly what it is. Independent bookstores provide such diverse book buying experiences that there's really nothing better. Typically, the cost with independent bookstores is at your highest. If you can buy books from Barnes & Noble, you can buy books from independent bookstores. They're never like astronomically higher. The other really nice thing about independent bookstores are the workers there, the booksellers. They are so knowledgeable. They know their stuff. And so if you want a recommendation, highly recommend using the booksellers at an independent bookstore. Also, the really nice thing is small town vibes. In an independent bookstore, they want your business. They want you to come back. And so you can make friends there. Typically, independent bookstores also provide book clubs or different gatherings or events, author readings, author signings. And so I highly recommend buying small, because not only are you supporting a small bookstore, you're also supporting your community. But the other option for buying physical books is probably a fave for many people, and it is a Barnes & Noble. But within this, I'm going to include Target and also Walmart, because I do buy books from Walmart. I live in a really small town where the thing that I have closest to me is a Walmart. So if Walmart has the books that I'm looking for, I'm gonna buy them. I never said that this list was ethical. All of these places, you can go in store or you can buy online. I would say Target and Walmart prices are comparable to Amazon prices. So again, if you're looking for decently priced books, check them out. Also, Barnes & Noble has a membership program that I'm sure a lot of you already know about. I feel like I'm preaching to the choir right now with this, talking about Barnes & Noble, Target, and Walmart. But they do have a membership that you can sign up for, which means that you get a certain percentage off of all of your purchases. Barnes & Noble also has sales going on. You know, their hardcover sales, notorious for their hardcover sales. And the selection at Barnes & Noble, it's hard to beat. If you are looking for a very specific kind of book, more than likely you'll be able to find it at Barnes & Noble. Okay, Clark is gone. He's down on the floor now. He doesn't want to cuddle anymore. So the next section that I'm going to talk about is where I like to buy books online. And so one of my absolute favorite places to buy books online is Pango Books. It's an app. It's basically like Etsy, but for selling your own books. So basically each person who sells books on there has their own library, which is kind of like an Etsy store. With a lot of these libraries, you have a certain amount that you have to get to in order to get free shipping. And so a lot of times what I do is I go on Pango Books, I search for a book that I really want, and then I find one that I like the price of, and then I look at the person's library and try and get to that certain monetary amount so then I can get free shipping. A lot of times it's like $20 to $30, so it's not bad at all. Depending on the seller too, sometimes they'll add fun little gifts in with the boxes. Like one time a girl had sent me a little annotation, like sticky notes with a box that I bought, and so super great. I mean, they know what they're doing. Pango Books is a really good one, really fun. Highly recommend that one. Ones that I won't talk as much about in this section is like like Barnes & Noble or Target or Half Price Books. You can buy books online from there as well. A lot of times they'll have online sales that they don't have in their physical bookstores, so keep that in mind when you're looking for books as well. Okay, I don't know where the footage went for this, but the second option is Book Outlet. Bookoutlet.com, it's a place where they sell new books but at an outlet price. Most of the time there's pretty popular books on here, but it's a little bit of a hit or miss. I will say you have to keep an eye out because when the books are gone, they're gone. They're not restocked ever. So yeah, Book Outlet. The other place that I really like to go to too is Depop. They don't just sell fashion items or clothes items. People also sell books on there. I don't go to it as much as Pango Books. Selection isn't as good as Pango Books, and it's not geared directly towards buying books, but it's a good option. And lastly, there is Thrift Books. I use Thrift Books especially to get my classics. I would use it a lot during college. They have lightly used books, but then also like heavily used books. These are usually the cheapest books that I can find online. They come from like $2 to $3 all the way to the new sale price of like $15. I will say the selection sometimes isn't the best, especially for newer books, but if you are looking for older, uber popular books, you'll find them on Thrift Books. Next section that I'm going to talk about are where I buy ebooks or audiobooks. So this would be in place of your Audible and your Kindle usage. One of the places that I get books from is iBooks. They have audiobooks and ebooks on there. I don't know if you can get iBooks on an Android phone, but for those of you with iPhones, I would say iBooks is very comparable to the Kindle app, and it looks a lot like Kindle does. So the way you swipe the page, the way you can bookmark things, the way you can highlight things. I will say the audiobooks are a lot more expensive. The selection is not as big. Kindle Unlimited is kind of hard to go up against. I don't believe iBook has anything similar to Kindle Unlimited, not that I know of. However, if you are buying an ebook full price from Kindle, it's very comparable to the iBook price. Ebook, iBook, I hate that. I hate that. I use it a lot more than Kindle or Audible now. So, iBook. Something else that I think people forget about a lot is Nook, which is Barnes & Noble's version of a Kindle. So it looks exactly like a Kindle would, you know, the tablet and how you use it. So if you are looking for or want to upgrade your Kindle, maybe look at a Nook instead. I would recommend Nook for those who want to have an actual tablet and not just that way then you can just get the app on your phone or on your iPad or something for Kindle. So, oh, and then lastly, but certainly not least, is an app called Libby, powered by Overdrive. When I used it, it was called Overdrive. I don't as much use the app anymore because I don't have a library card. So if you have a library card, you just put your library card information into Overdrive or into Libby, and you can then check out ebooks and audiobooks on the app. It's basically how a library is used. You go on, you search for the book that you want, and you check it out, and then it's downloaded onto your phone or whatever device for an allotted amount of days, and then once that time is done, it's undownloaded and then goes back into the library system. So it's perfect for if you just want to try a book out. I have found I'm not much of an audiobook re-listener, so it's a good way to test things out without having to actually buy it because audiobooks are expensive. Audible is expensive, and so it's a really good way to save money, and it's a really good way to support your local library. So check that out as well. Okay, and that is it. That is my list of places that I buy books from other than Amazon. Again, I want to reiterate, this isn't to shame anyone for using Amazon or to make people think that they can never buy books off of Amazon. This is just my encouragement. If you feel like diversifying your book buying experience, all of these options are great options to look into. I'll also leave links in the description to all the places that I talk about so you can find them easily. Also, something to note, this isn't a full list. I'm sure there's so many other places that you can go to buy books online or physically that I'm not mentioning. These are just the ones that I use and the ones that I have thought of, and just a place to start if you don't really know where to start. With that, I will say goodbye. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to stick around, you can subscribe. If you don't, that's okay. If you want to like this video, go for it. I will talk to you guys again soon.